most realtors don't know anything about the rehab process,
Right.
right? Most realtors don't even know how a house works.
Correct.
You should see my messages. People asking me, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's a water heater." Like,
Yeah, that's horrible. If you got a
know?
license, you don't know what a water heater is, you need to go back to school.
Hey, gang. The Headley Group Real Estate Show is a video-audio podcast designed to highlight and interview real estate professionals, entrepreneurs, and other fields alike. The mission of our podcast is to acknowledge people of color and show their successes, and in return, help our audience learn from them and pick up tips and tricks in building additional income.
Hey, ladies and gents, this is Mike Headley. We are back. Another great episode in the Headley Group Real Estate Show. I always say all the time, one thing about us is that, we keep it authentic and real. We got a brother who we couldn't give him the first time because he's in high demand. And this brother was gracious enough to circle back to us without us following back up and say, hey, I'm ready to do the show now. Sometimes we get some people, we reach out, we don't get a response back, but I want to commend this brother for doing that. This brother right here buys properties, flips them, does rentals, as well as he's an awesome coach. He's educating us out there. So we're going to pick up some great Jews. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Malik Carter with Cash Flow Bros, better known as Coach. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How you feeling? Thanks for having me. Second time's a charm.
That's right. Second time is a charm. Brother, I see just based off your resume that you're doing great things in different parts of the country. You're in Philadelphia. You're also in North Carolina.
Yeah, 100%.
What was that driving force one day back in 2007? It seems like you've been in business about 15 years now. What was that driving force or that bulb clicked on when you said, I need to get into this real estate industry and teach my people?
So I always had the bug. I care more about trying to be in the music business than I did about real estate, back then. And so at that time period, I went to college in Durham, to NC Central, right?
Oh, brother, I got to interject right here. So you went to Central? Brother, now I'm an Aggie now, right? So, hey, the Aggie Eagle Bowl. That's right. For those who don't know, it is two HBCUs here in North Carolina A&T State University and Central University, right in the street from each other. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Now I was in NC Central, man. Eagle Pride, right?
Eagle Pride. That's what's up.
Right. And so I was down there making money and doing promotions and doing that. And of course, every young black man wanted to be in music. So I was following that journey. And then I came back to Philly and I did well in North Carolina. And I came to Philly, I flopped. So I was like, okay, let me find like a different route. And it just so happened that a good friend of mine was doing mortgages. And so I kind of got in that space and I learned how to get a mortgage and started buying houses at that point. But back then everybody was back in everybody was getting rich back then. So I started doing mortgages actually in 05, 06. But I started buying houses until 07, right? 07. But everybody was getting rich doing mortgages. And so I made a lot of money doing mortgages. And then, as you know, 2008 came and crashed and I lost it all. And I had to start all the way back over.
Wow. So let's unpack that a little bit there. 2007, 2008, and then for those who don't know, all you needed was a heartbeat and a pulse. You can get a mortgage, right? Right. It. So the financial crisis happened and it crashed. And you said you lost everything. If you don't mind sharing, what kind of loans did you have? Just rates, mortgage?
When I say lost everything, I didn't lose all my property. I lost a couple of houses and I lost my business, right? So I was I went from a loan officer to a mortgage broker to a mortgage banker, right?
Got you. Okay.
And so at that point, I couldn't close any loans. I still got staff. I still got to pay my mortgage, my building. And I went 8 months and I didn't make a dime in 8 months before I ended up having to shut down. And my banking account was like on E by the time that was over.
Wow.
So I had to figure it out after that.
So okay, people want to know, how'd you figure it out? I mean, what was the next door opening from that?
So the next thing I actually did is I took a I moved back to North Carolina. I took a job at Time Warner Cable.
Okay.
And I was there. I was in training, and something happened, and I got in trouble in training. I said something in the room, whatever. I didn't like it, and so I came. The supervisor said, like, nah, you know, before we got a training, like, you're going to be in trouble, this and that. And I couldn't fathom a grown man telling me, another grown man, that I'm going to be in trouble. And I was like, I can't, this job life is just not something I'm going to be able to take long term. And I ended up, I did a deal in Philly, real estate deal in Philly, and I ended up making like $30,000 on that deal. And that was enough for me to pack up North Carolina to come back to Philly and give me like a little cushion till I figured out my next steps. And my next steps were me just finding a job. I looked for a job like it was a job. Like every day I'm getting up on the computer, I'm applying for stuff, you know, whatever it took to finally get a job. And the job that I ended up landing was at the Philadelphia Housing Authority, which I was a property manager in the projects, pretty much. That's what that was.
You know what I like? Go ahead. You had something else to say, add to that?
No, I was saying like that's what really changed everything for me, like that job.
One thing I do like about that, it all was indirectly or directly real estate related, right? It's like you ended up at the housing authority, and then that led to pretty much kind of where you at now. Let's go back to the flipping part. Okay, you said you had a great deal. You made about 30 grand off a deal. Was that a flip, or was that did you go in with somebody?
So no, it was a rooming house that I had. It was a rooming house. I partnered with somebody who didn't want it. We partnered together, and I ended up refinancing him off of the deal. And out of refinance, I took $30,000 out of refinance. That was the first time I ever done refinance and was able to cash out. And that's how I did it. And so I refinanced him off the loan, and I got a new loan with me on it. But the problem with that is I was over leveraged in that property, and the place was a dump. We were making money hand over fist doing rooms, but it was a very high risk. You know, the location of it was definitely in slums. You know, and the wolves out there knew every week that I'm leaving with a handful of money, so I was food in their neighborhood, and so very high risk. But the money was great, you know, doing rooms in it.
Do you still own that property now?
Absolutely not. I was so happy for closing that property. I was ecstatic when that property foreclosed.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm saying because what happened is license inspection ended up shutting me down. Right, and as I'm trying to fix the property back up to satisfy the violations, people just kept breaking in. Right, they stole my tools, they stole my light fixtures, they stole my toilet, my vanity, my copper, my water heater, my windows, my door. They just kept breaking in. When I see they get in one way, I'll seal it up. They come in a different way, and then I left it empty for like a month or two. I'm running out of money. And then come to find out, these guys are in there, they fighting dogs in there, you know, they are selling drugs in there. One guy, they turn into an after hour, they got the stripper poles, everything. And so I'm like, yo, somebody get hurt in that building, somebody get hurt in there, I'm liable. So I was like, you know what, if a place caused me too much stress and anxiety, I'm gonna just let it go. And I thought that I was gonna be upset when I foreclosed. But it was the total opposite. I was so happy. Like my credit could begin to recover at that point. I don't have to think about it anymore. If somebody get hurt, you know, it's not on me anymore. That burden was just lifted, you know, and it gave me an opportunity to really refocus my money and my energy in other places.
You know what I like about that definitely is the teaching moment audience. A lot of times, you know, we feel as though we get a piece of real estate that we have to hold on to it. Just you want to create the generational wealth, but at the same time, if it's a headache, if it's stress, it's causing you all kinds of problems, get rid of that property, let somebody take on that problem. So I commend you on that, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, but the point that I made earlier was that I was over leveraged, right?
Over leveraged, okay.
I couldn't sell it. I owed too much on it to sell it, right? I couldn't rent it because it was raggedy. I couldn't even do a lease purchase on it. I just couldn't. Only thing that I could do was try to fix it up enough to do rooms again, which of course they kept stealing my stuff.
Correct.
So at this point, it's like a shell. So I had to end up letting it go. It was costing me too much money, and I had to get out of there.
And I bet you that property right now is pretty much up there now. Would you think?
It's not.
It's not. It's still not. Oh my God!
I'm telling you, it was in the deep hood. It was now
the hood. Okay.
I will say this. It's getting there. In another couple of years, like the next block over, those properties have seen an increase.
Okay.
And it will get here. It just hasn't gotten there yet. But no, it was. I was deep.
So, Coach, you had that property, did a refinance. Did you use that BRRRR strategy to get the other person off the loan? Was that
exactly?
Place okay.
That's what it's like. He added me on refinance them all. Right, that was using the BRRRR strategy, but that was before that was even the term. There wasn't such thing as the BRRRR strategy.
Exactly. So now that was the kind of the first one, and if you don't mind highlighting your wins in terms of from then until now, how many actually have you flipped up until now?
I can't.
Okay, it's too many. Oh, it's too many. So, would you say you say that first deal, which deal was the most rockiest one, but you did quite well with it in terms of when you flipped it?
So actually, just one I just sold last in 2021.
Okay.
I didn't have any mentorship. I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? I did a subject 2, and it had a mortgage on it. So what happened is the lady passed away. Her daughter was the executor. Problems with the property. So I'm like, okay. I caught the mortgage up. I bought the property subject to, but the bank didn't recognize my power of attorney. So I'm sending the mortgage payments in, and they're sending them back, but they're sending them back in the deceased lady's name.
Oh wow!
Right. So then they're like, no, we don't even want your money. We just either give us all of our money all at one time, right, or we're just going to foreclose. Which I still don't understand. Why not take the payment?
Correct. Exactly. I thought they didn't care who it came from, as long as you paid.
Nah, they care. They care. I thought they didn't care. They care. Right. And so. This is about me buying right. So I ended up, mind you, this is after I already put money into fixing the house up. So the first payment they sent back, they didn't send it back immediately. It was like a couple of months later, they sent the money back. So I already put like $20,000 to the upgrade to the house. And so I'm trying to run it out. And what I ended up doing is just selling the property. It was like the bank's not recognizing it. I don't feel like dealing with these people. Let me just go ahead and sell the property. But I sold it for $180,000. Mind you, I paid $60,000. I paid $60,000 basically. So I get a lady. I quit the mortgage up at $8,000. I gave her $5,000. Put the mortgage over, it was like $67,000. Put $20,000 in. Sold it for $80,000. I'm the realtor. Right, so I ended up netting like $87,000 or something like that on that deal.
Nice. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying so that was when it started out rocky, but it turned out good.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're gonna interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that.
Few things there we got to unpack. One, brother, I didn't know you was licensed. So you are licensed.
Yeah, I'm licensed here in Philly. Yeah.
Okay, you licensed Philly, got you. Because I know you highlight the flipping a lot, right? So but you're only licensed for more or less your deals, right? You don't try to work with.
I do other people's deals, so I kind of got burnt out. I used to actually love being a realtor. Okay. But I felt out of love with being a realtor because I know it's me. I know that it's not the business itself. The business itself is good, but I feel like I know what's best for my client. Exactly. Right. And then when they don't listen, they find themselves in a tight situation. I'm like, you know what? Let me just not do that anymore. Listen, I know what you're pre-approved for, right? But I also know what your goals are. If you listen to me, let me help you reach your goals. And they will ultimately buy the total opposite of what they need. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do me. And I went into really working with only investors until one text changed my mind about even working with investors. You know, that kind of changed up. So yeah, that's what it was, man. Like, but being, I love the satisfaction, like helping somebody to buy a property that either never thought about it or never felt like they could do it, and then finally being able to get that clear close and get to the table, right? Maybe they crying, they kids the first time they had a room, you know. I mean, like I love that feeling. I love that emotion of it, you know. But then also I got kids too, and so they want me to show a house at the same time my kids need me. You know?
That's right.
I'm like, yeah, this, you know, the relationship. So like, I still take on it every once in a while. You know, if I get the urge, I will say this: I don't leave my zip code. If it's out of my zip code, it's a referral. Or I'm talking like if it's not within like 8 blocks, I'm referring that regardless.
Got you. Well, one good thing I like about everything what you just said is you play to your strengths, right? You know, and I think a lot of us, you know, we'll get licensed, we'll get to the business, and we know we don't really kind of want to do it, and we're actually out here, you know, we're going past 8 blocks, right? We're going to whole nother county, but you're like, nah, I'm staying within this bubble here. You want to work with me, you can. If not, I'm referring it out, but I'm really here more or less for my deals, right? For your own personal deals.
But it wasn't always like that, though. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead.
So what happened is I started to work with investors, right? And for like a 2-year period, Philly's still on fire. Okay. But for a 2-year period, I didn't work with any Americans. All of my clients were from no Americans at all. I didn't have any American clients for like 2 years. Right? All my clients were either from Israel or Hong Kong. One of them from Dubai, a couple of Russians.
Okay.
And like they were coming to Philly in droves. And I was like that guy for some of them. And they bought a lot of properties. So I pretty much worked mostly with them. And what happened, so when you really, it's weird like how different cultures invest differently. Like
exactly,
the Israelis really only wanted to flip, whereas the guys from Hong Kong, they really only wanted rentals, right? And they really wanted Section 8 rentals because they had the 2-year guarantee, and as long as they made 8% return on their money, they were happy. Like they were all, even though they didn't even know each other, but they all had the same strategies. And maybe there's like the coach over there telling them what to do. I don't know. But when they came here with me, everybody was the same. And the reason why I was able to get any international client is because once you understand their needs and their keywords, you can have a conversation with only keywords and they're going to hire you, right?
I like that.
They want to hear cash on cash. They want to hear ROI. They want to hear that 8%. They want to, like, once you know what they want to hear, every conversation, you'll be able to get them all. Right? And then with the Israelis, like, okay, yeah, you're going to make 20% on the flip. We've done this time, this contractor, just our whole conversation was just keywords. And just, and just hitting them, right? And that's it. So
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm writing it down.
So for a couple of years, it was really just that. But the thing that changed it, man, I had this one client, and I would buy stuff here or there, not a whole lot, right? So there's one client, I had got him like 4 or 5 properties off market, which, and our relationship was this: I found a property off market, whether it was at a wholesaler, if I got it, whatever, I'll make a tiny bit up front, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, something like that. And then when they rehabbed it, of course, I'll be the one to list it. Right. And to the point, and I would do that. And I tell any of my investors that, like, listen, if I can't list it, I'm not really going to send you any houses. Tell them in advance. Tell them in advance. I'm very, because if you don't tell them what you need, they're not going to deliver. Like, then why didn't you tell me? So I'm very specific about what my needs are, right? So with this guy, these properties, his net profit was going to be about $500,000 on the properties that he just bought. So I found this next property came up, and I'm like, but listen, I'm just going to put $2,500 on it. He like, nah, 15. you know, and we joking around. My wife was pregnant, right? We just joking around with him, and I'm like, yeah, cool, man. Baby going away, mad bills to pay, right? Like, let me get 2,500. And then, you know, he say something else. I'm like, yeah, stop being greedy. Take 1,500. Like, stop being greedy. I'm making you $500,000. Stop being greedy. Okay.
Wow.
And I never sent him any more deals after that. I started any deal I would send him, I started buying.
Exactly, as you should.
Started buying. So then I got greedy, and as I got greedy, you know, I made way more money from being greedy than I ever was finding deals with him. I mean, way more money.
So many golden nuggets in there. I like the fact that when you said, hey, I was working with, you know, people who were not from here. And the keywords played a role, but I'm quite sure once you did one or two right, they opened up the floodgates to their partners, to their family members. Because I think I had some clients like that as well. You do right by one, they will use you all the time.
Yeah, it's a fact. That's a fact. They did, but like I said, but they were coming to me. And listen, I'm gonna give you a guy. I mean, so is your audience realtors?
No, it's a combination of realtors and investors, yes, but primarily realtors, yes.
So I'm gonna just give it anybody that's an agent on here. I'm gonna just give you just a quick tip.
It's a jewel dropper, y'all. Jewel dropper.
The deals that made me the most money are the listings that nobody wanted. Those $20,000 listings, $30,000 listings that nobody cared about. When I listed those properties, my investor database shot up. And that's how all those guys from these other countries found me when I'm listing these cheap properties, right? So I know they tell you, oh, you got to get the top listings. You got to you want to get the highest possible GCI. Those cheap houses made me way more money than the big listings ever could have.
Well, and just to echo what the brother's saying, I'm a testimony of that as well. I listed a lot of and sold a lot of them $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 houses. Less stress, less headache, no contingencies, cash, we out of there. Now the commission probably wasn't $9,000, $10,000, but it was a quick $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 in and out of there. So what the brother's saying, I definitely second that.
And then I'm telling you, and then once these guys, once they know, and because I also was an investor and they knew that I knew my numbers, most realtors don't know anything about the rehab process. Right. Most realtors don't even know how a house works.
Correct.
You know, you should see my messages. People asking me, what is this? I'm like, it's a water heater.
Yeah, that's horrible. If you got a license, you don't know what a water heater is, you need to go back to school.
It's bad. I'm like, man, is this a gas heater or is it oil? I'm like, you know, like, listen, these things. But because I understand my numbers, the investors love me.
Nice.
They stopped loving me when I stopped sending them deals. When I started, like, you know what? I'm gonna get I got y'all rich. Let me get me rich.
Great segue for me to slide into cash flow bros. Because brother, like I said, you are doing it. I mean, you are really highlighting, educating people, and you're benefiting as well. Tell us all about it. What made you want to start and what's it about?
So the Cash Flow Bros is a partnership with me and my guy, Justin JH Capital on Instagram for those that care. And he was already doing some real estate education courses. And like we had done some flips together. He's a contractor also for me. And so instead of trying to do this stuff individually, I'm about collaboration. So we decided to work together and doing real estate education. But what was happening is, no matter how much education we give people, our frustration with people not executing. Like, once you got the money, you got the credit, we're going to help you out, but then you still don't pull the trigger. So we decided, okay, we put together a done for you service. So we teach people how to find off-market properties, but within that, we do it for you. So we have a 1 month training. So in that 1 month, we give you all of our strategies, our contracts, our text follow-up sequence, our email sequences. Like, we really give you everything that we use to find our deals off market. And then we'll do it for you for that first month. If you want to continue to have us do marketing for you, we can do it. But, you know, the same team, like we have a team that finds our deals. And like the same strategy that we use for us, we'll use it for you, right? And what it looks like, you know, like for instance, like if you're in the Triad area, we'll have an onboarding call. You tell us what your goals are and your market. We'll come up with a comprehensive plan, and then we'll set up all your back end systems, and we'll do all your marketing for you for that month. And then like there's no split, whatever opportunities you get, you know, and we call that program actually DOA, which means deals on arrival. So all you gotta do is show up.
Quick commercial break. If you're interested in a career in real estate, or you're a seasoned vet, you might want to change. New environment. You don't like the atmosphere you're in. The Headley Group Realty could be there to assist you with your career. What do we offer? Great culture, great environment, leads, and an awesome commission structure. Let us be there to support your business. One thing, you got to be in the state of North Carolina. Let's get back to the show.
Okay.
You know, we'll make all your appointments for you. All you have to do is show up and close. That's it, right? And so that's what we're doing now. We're making it really foolproof, right? There's people. Some people have excuses. Some people have reasons why they can't start. But I don't care which one it is. You're going to start because we're going to do it for you, right? The only way we can guarantee success is if we do it for you. Gotcha. And so now we've been doing that, highly successful, man. There's one person, she's in Massachusetts, but Massachusetts was out of her range, and so we put her down in a small town in Georgia, killing it. Columbus, Ohio, killing it. We got Milwaukee, like big opportunity. Chicago, but Chicago's a little tricky because they have that person. He's not a realtor, he's a wholesaler, and Chicago kind of outlaw wholesaling, so he can't wholesale, but there are workarounds. But killing it. We're talking about like, you know, some days 3 or 4 appointments. You know, like really, really going at.
Well, and let me talk about that, right? For example, I do know, like, because I had some people from Chicago on the show, and I think they're able to do one deal. I think one deal, and then after that, it's like a $25,000 fine. But then they want you to be licensed as well.
Be licensed, but you know, listen. The thing is, they can't start if you want to buy it. There's no regulation. There's no regulation if you want to buy it. And so what I tell him is to buy it. I had the money. Don't worry about it. We'll get the money. Like, we'll find some transactional funding to make it work.
Okay. So that's what I was going to ask you about when you say that some people just don't want to pull the trigger. Is it once you do everything for them, now it's time to actually purchase the property, the funding part? Is that what they don't want to pull the trigger?
No, I meant before that. Before that. We were just giving the information.
Okay.
We just it was a 6-month training. You know, he's a contractor. We break down how to find a contractor, where to find a contractor, how to not get ripped off by a contractor, you know, how to estimate a job, how to evaluate a deal, how to find properties off market. We give you our lenders. We do have the nationwide lenders. We have private money and hard money, traditional financing. We really break down, give you a comprehensive education for people to be successul. And with just giving the information, they wouldn't execute. And that's why we started the Done For You, because any excuse, any reason, it don't matter. If we give you opportunities, right? If we basically say, here's a deal, this person wants to sell their house for $40,000, right? You can either buy it yourself or you can wholesale it, make a couple of dollars. If we do that for you and you still don't want to do the business, it's not for you.
Correct.
Right? We understand that people are fearful. Some people don't believe it's going to be real. You know, you might not believe it's going to be possible. We get that. But now we showed you not only that it's possible, but how to do it. And if you choose not to keep going, then it's just on you.
Exactly. I agree with that. You know, some people just don't have that mindset wherewithal, and they see the social media posts and they see the stuff on TV and think, wow, that's kind of easy. But it's a lot going in the back end, but you make that easy, you make that process much smoother for them. And it's like, why are you not doing it?
The thing about this business though, is difficult when you first start.
Correct.
By year 3, your phone's ringing off the hook anyway. By year 3, if you don't supposed to do by year 3, if you're letting everybody know who you are, that you're in this business and that you have integrity and that you're actually going to close on whatever, by year 3, people are going to call you with all types of opportunities.
Nice. And with the Cash Flow Bros, you said it has been successful. How long has it been in existence now?
So we've only been Cash Flow Bros for less than a year. He was doing it for a year and a half before I got started. And so we were together for actually we started in July. July was when we first started Cash Flow Bros.
Okay.
You know, and we transitioned a couple of months ago. But yeah, like our people are having tremendous success. I'm very proud of them. You know, This one dude, he's 27, and he's already did over $100,000 and he has. But what he did is he did some wholesales, but he also took what we taught him and got his contractor license. So he does construction now also, and he's on his first flip, and he's projected to make net 80,000 on his first flip.
Wow, brother. 27, yeah. That's awesome.
And listen, guess what? He never even quit his day job.
Smart.
Listen, do you know I would have blew that money so fast if I was 27? So brother, so we know that it's like the flipping comes and you got the Cash Flow Bros on. What else are you being pulled in so many different directions? What else do you have ongoing now that's now making the people more knowledgeable? You're doing one-on-ones, mentorship. What else do you have? The only thing that we're doing is that mentorship with the Cash Flow Bros.
Cash Flow Bros.
Mentorship. You know, I don't want to confuse the audience. I don't want to do too much. We want to focus on that one thing, put all of our attention, because Justin and I, we both put like a lot of hours, a lot of effort, and there's no need. Like, this is the thing that we know that works. We're just going to focus on that as far as the education space. Right. Of course, I have other investments, but as far as education space, and you know, they're just that. Plus, I'm still a student, right? I'm learning new construction right now.
Exactly. Okay.
My first new construction projects. So I'm learning that.
Well, brother, here's the thing. Let me ask you something here. We ask a guest, every guest that we have. We say that if you had to go back, you've been in the game 15 years now, you had to tell yourself, do this, don't do that. What would that look like?
If we're talking only real estate, I would have said,
or life experience.
Life experience. I would have said to myself 15 years ago, I would have said, buy Apple stock, buy Amazon stock, buy every piece of real estate that you see in the city of Philadelphia. And I mean, there are other places that had better performance in Philadelphia, but the houses here were only $5,000 or $6,000. I bought a house of $7,500. You know, and those days are.
Oh, they go. They out of here.
Yeah, they out of here, right? Yeah. So that's what I would have told myself. I would have way more money had I not gone to college and just been buying houses. And what I want people to know is, even though the price of houses is way much higher than it was 15 years ago, you can still get rich in this space. Start the day, you'll still get rich.
That's right. That's right.
And so when I broke this down, right? Public housing, I got tired of seeing these kids kill each other and try to come up with I came with a formula, right? I came with a formula because everybody think that you gotta be Rick Ross to be rich, right? You know, not to have a quality of life. You know, and the formula that I came up with, I thought from a perspective of somebody that's 20 years old that makes about $30,000 a year, right? That's like a UPS overnight or whatever the case may be. And as the formula goes, if you just buy one multifamily a year and make at least $500 per building, that's $100,000 a year. So by the time you're I'm 43. So by the time you're 20, by the time you're 40, you're making about $100,000. And then what you do when the earlier buildings, take that $500, take one of those buildings, take $500 and invest $500 into the stock market, something that follows the S&P. Don't be a stock picker. The S&P has been paying back about 8% on average since 1967. Wow. After the period of 20 years, you have around $400,000 or so. So by the time you're 40 years old, you got 100 grand passive, and you got $400,000 in this retirement account that's sitting right there, liquid, as yours. You can touch it. But I didn't mention anything about what to do with them other thousands of dollars, other $9,000 or so that you're getting from your rental properties. I didn't say anything about your 401k or your other paycheck. So from doing those things, you got $100,000 a year and $400,000. But imagine if you took $1,000 a month and put it over here in the S&P. Now you got $800,000, and you still got $100,000, and you're 43, right? So my goal is to help people and I didn't know this till late, right?
Correct.
So
exactly.
I want to help people to have these realizations earlier, because what we do know is that a black man in America's life expectancy is about 67. We're not going to retire at 65 and only got 2 years to chill.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And we also know is the more money you make, the longer you live.
That's right.
You got a better part of your life. You're not working as hard. You're eating better food. You're stressing way less. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this passive income. We're going to work on this compound interest, and we're going to retire early. No, we're not doing 65 years old. No, we're not. That's not what we're doing around here. We're going to go ahead, and if you start at 20 years old, and mind you, I say make $30,000 a year. I say you got to make 140, 190. You make $30,000 a year.
Correct.
By the time you're 40, you get $100,000, and you got probably $400,000, and you still hopefully you might have your job still, and that 401k. Life get real easy with compound interest, and we just have to execute even on that and be disciplined. You know, I know you might want to go to the club. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But do that later. Let's just go ahead and go to the club after you maxed your 401k.
Exactly.
Right? After you maxed out your contributions to your investment account, then go to the club, not before. You know, so that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach compound interest more than anything else.
I like that, brother. Brother, let me tell you something. You really enlightened us with so many great jewels here. Brother, we asked the guests for 2 golden nuggets. Like I said, you gave us a lot, whether it be a book, scripture, quote, anything that gives you inspiration to keep you going every day. Give me 2 golden nuggets. What are they?
First thing, stop telling yourself no. We all do it. We all go out there and try it. That's the first one. Secondly, I will give you a book. I'm gonna give you the book that actually changed my life and made me more aggressive. I read this at NC Central. I was trying to get up out of there. Okay. And everybody's heard of it, I'm sure. If you've heard of it, haven't read it, shame on you. But is Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun by Reginald Lewis, the first black billionaire. He was a graduate of Virginia State University, HBCU, also. Then went to Harvard Law, and incredible individual. And that book really opened my eyes and the capabilities of people that come from impoverished backgrounds and people that have less than. So those are 2 things.
Wow. Let me tell you all something, brother. This brother is really enlightening us with some good stuff. And like I said, it was a great conversation. Brother's busy now. We're going to let him go out there and make some more money and educate us. Malik Carter, coach, thank you, brother, for being on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. And we want to tell people we want to support this brother with the Cash Flow Bros. Go out there and support that and become knowledgeable, right? Because a lot of times we get into the business without having the proper knowledge and wonder why we're making all these mistakes. Let's shorten that learning curve by supporting this brother and getting what he has to make things a little bit more easier.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, brother. With that being said, we'll see you all next time on the Headley Group Real Estate Show.
Hey, gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms. And don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.